Alright, hey, here's Mike here. I'm doing a video about the Honda Super Cub. It's how to do chain maintenance on it, alright? So, according to the manual, you've got to inspect the chain every 300 miles. Inspect and probably lube it, okay? Maybe not so much, because this the chain on the Super Cub is enclosed, okay? They have like there's like a chain cover for it, like on the top and the bottom. So they designed that way so, you know, it would need the least maintenance as possible, okay? So dirt wouldn't come and contaminate the chain and everything. So we'll actually go in there and we'll take a look at it. My bike has about 1,600 miles on it right now, so we'll go and see what it looks like under there, okay? I know I do need to adjust it too, so and I'll show you how to check the chain slack, how to inspect the chain, and then lube the chain, and then how to adjust the chain, because I think I have to adjust it. Okay, so that's what's going on in this video, and we'll take a look at that. We'll do it by the book, okay? All right, here's what we got. Okay, so these are some of the tools that you're probably going to need to do this. If we need more, we'll go grab more, okay? So you're going to need a 5mm Allen wrench of some sort, okay? That's what this is. Okay, you probably need a socket kind if you're going to torque the covers. And then you're going to need a 10mm open end a combination wrench, a 12mm combination wrench, and a 14mm combination wrench. No. Yeah. Okay, and one more. And you're going to need a 19mm wrench, okay, an open-ended wrench, okay. All right, and then you're going to need a torque wrench to torque the axle, and a 14mm socket for that, okay. And then this is my torque wrench apparatus, okay. All right, let's go take a look at the manual real quick. Okay, there's one more tool that I forgot. It is a caliper, okay, or a ruler. You need some kind of measuring device to measure the chain slack, okay. All right, there you go. Okay, so in this situation, I would say I would use the owner's manual, because I found a printing typo error in the service manual, and they don't tell you how to take the covers off in the same section, okay. So like everything is kind of conveniently located in the owner's manual, okay. So, but we'll kind of look at both, okay. So to do the drive chain slack inspection, well, we'll do it by the book. Let's use the service manual since it's in here, okay. It's pretty much the same. It's the same story. Yeah, pretty much. So in the owner's manual, it says check the drive chain slack at several points along the chain. If the slack is not constant at all points, some links may be kinked and binding. Okay, and it doesn't say anything on his. Okay, it says shift the transmission to neutral and stop the engine, and then place your vehicle on its center stand on a firm level surface. Okay, so right here it says support the vehicle with its center stand and shift the transmission in neutral. Pretty much the same thing in just one thing. Okay, and then you remove the inspection cap hole. Okay, remove the inspection cap hole. It shows the same picture, except this one is kind of gray, and this one actually has the chain specs on it. Okay, and then measure the drive chain slack, and the slack should be between 25 to 35 millimeters. Okay, so 25 to 35 millimeters. Does it say that in the owner's manual? Yes, it does on the next page. Okay. So you want to move the chain up with your finger and then check the drive chain slack, okay? And it says if it's more than 50 millimeters, it may damage. Do not ride your vehicle if its slack exceeds 50 millimeters. That would mean you would need to change your chain, okay? your chain is worn out. Excessive chain slack more than 50 millimeters may damage the frame, okay? So that's the reason they don't want you to. If the frame could get damaged if you got too much, but you shouldn't let it get to 50 millimeters, because 35 millimeters is the maximum spec right there, okay? Okay, and you could also do it in inches, but we're going to do it in millimeter. All right, let's go do this. Okay, so let's get this started. So it actually tells you how to do it right here. There's a sticker on the little cover down here, on the bottom cover. Keep chain adjusted and lubricated, 30 millimeters, free play. Okay. That's not what the manual, and that's not what the service manual says, because the service manual said 25 to 35, okay? They just picked like a medium number. Why? Okay. Come on, Honda. Jeez. Okay, anyway, to quickly inspect it, okay, you're gonna need to take this cover off, okay? So you just kind of peel it off with your fingernail there, okay? It should just pop out like that. All right, that's what it looks like. Okay, and there's a little inspection port here, okay? Okay, let me see if I can get a good video of this. All right, so you're gonna wanna set your caliper, okay? That's what I'm gonna use, a caliper, okay? You're gonna wanna set it for 35 millimeter. That's the maximum, right? So you don't want it to be less than 25, and you don't want it to be more than 35 millimeters. So I'm gonna set this to 35, okay? That's 35 right there, okay? And then you're gonna want, I like to use the tail of the caliper to tell how much, okay? So you're gonna have to do this in a couple of different places. I would say 3, okay? So what you're gonna do is look through the hole, okay? Look straight down through the hole. All right, and then align the caliper up with the tool, okay? Actually, okay. Yep, and then you're gonna have to move this up. So I actually can't get my finger in there. So we're gonna use the Allen wrench, okay? Okay, so make sure I'm pressing down on it and let it settle. Okay, and then we're gonna move it up, and that. Oop, okay, wait, right here. Okay, so we're looking at the bottom. We're using the bottom of the chain, okay? Just so we got to measure from the bottom of the chain, and it looks like we have enough. Yeah, I think that's enough. I thought of, okay, well, maybe we don't need to adjust it. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So I guess that's how you want it. When you measure, you're measuring from the bottom of the chain. If it goes above this, like kind of like, see this little rib right here? Right here? If you can move the chain up past there, just about there, that's about 35 millimeters, okay? So I think this chain is still okay. It's quite a bit of play, actually, so. Okay, so, but yeah, to better properly check it, I would take the covers off, okay? So that's what we're gonna do next. All right, but yeah, the way I would do it is, I think that's why they have this inspection cover hole. This hole is about 35 millimeters, okay? So when you move it from the bottom, see, we're checking from the bottom of the chain. We're gonna go move this up all the way till it kind of stops, and you can still kind of see it in the window a little bit. It stops like right around here, okay? And that's about 35 millimeters. So it should be still good. I was gonna say, okay, so what you're gonna want to do is check it in a couple different places, okay? So check it right here, okay? Okay, that looks about the same. Okay, it actually looks like it's a little loose. Okay. Okay, yeah, so I think the best way to do it is to just take the chain cover off. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the chain cover off, and then we're gonna inspect the chain. Okay. Right. So in the owner's manual, it does tell you how to take the covers off. All right. So it says rotate the wheel and check that the chain moves smoothly. Well, it does. It does. Okay. And then we check the chain slack. It looks okay, but we're gonna take the chain covers off to double check. First, remove the chain covers by removing the bolts. Okay. So these are the bolts. There's 4 bolts on the chain covers, and then it comes off, all right? And then you want to inspect the sprockets, clean and lubricate the chain if it needs to, and then install parts in the reverse order of removal, okay? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go remove the chain cover. We're gonna use our 5mm Allen wrench to remove it, because that's what the bolts they use are. Okay. Okay, bottom cover slips right out. Okay, you might want to clean that if you see any kind of dirt in there, and this one does. This one has a good amount of sand in it. So I can tell this bike came from Santa Cruz because there's a lot of beaches near Santa Cruz. So they probably rode this near the beach or something. All right. We're going to remove the top cover now. It looks like all the bolts are interchangeable too, so you don't have to worry about mixing them up or anything. Okay, you could just not put them back on too, but I would, you know, unless you like doing chain maintenance all the time. Okay, slip it out there from behind. This one's a little harder because the shock is in the way. Okay, just remember the smaller one is on top. And it still looks pretty good after 1,600 miles. I can say so myself. But it looks like we're not. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good still in there. All right, that's kind of how like you want your chain to look. I'm gonna say we're not gonna clean the chain, but we will lube it. Okay. There's a sprocket. So one thing you want to inspect is the sprockets. So you can tell the sprocket is pretty worn out when it starts to get really pointy. This is not worn out. See the tops of the teeth right there? See the tops of the teeth right there? They're flat. Okay, that's how you want them. You want them flat and pretty much the same. You want them like symmetrical. Okay, if it's like kind of looks like it's a kind of getting this sawtooth kind of look, then they're getting worn out. Okay. Okay. So after inspecting the rear sprocket, we're gonna inspect the front sprocket, and to do that, you would probably take this cover off in the front, but we're not going to do it. We're just going to kind of just peep in there and just take a look at it, okay? So you can do that by looking underneath here, okay? There it is. Okay, so you can kind of see it right there. All right, and just kind of look at the teeth, make sure they look good. Like I said, make sure it's not sharp, okay? It's got to be like kind of flat looking on the top. Okay, but that looks good. All right, just a quick inspection, okay? Also, another thing you want to check on your chain is make sure this master link is here, okay? And make sure it's going in the right direction. So you want the front, you want the open end to go in to point the opposite direction the chain is supposed to move, okay? And then the closed end is in the direction that the wheel spins, okay? So the wheel would spin normally this way, right? So you want it to be on the left side, right? Yeah. So I'm spinning the wheel forward right now. It should be going that way, okay? So you can be going towards the front of the bike. Okay. So that's what that should look like. And it's nice they colored it so you can definitely tell. All right. Okay, yeah, so front and rear sprocket check out really good. They look really nice. Okay, now we're gonna double check our chain slack, okay? All right. Okay, so kind of remember where the inspection window is. That's where they want you to check the chain slack. So I'm just gonna put this cover back on right quick, okay? All right, so it should have been right here, okay? So about, I don't know, about 4 fingers from this little thing on the swing arm here, okay? This little bung on the swing arm. Little plug on the swing arm is what I'm gonna say. All right, so right around here. So what you might want to do in the future, for the future, is mark that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get some silver marker, 4 fingers, so right around, yeah, right here. Or you can just double check, okay? So that way, in the future, when you take this thing off, you know where it is, or you know where to inspect it. All right. So right here. Oh yeah, there's gonna be, you're gonna see the swing arm. Okay, anyway, it's gonna be on the bottom of the swing arm here. Okay, this little mark here. That way people don't see it. Plus, don't worry about using a permanent marker. You can remove it with alcohol, so it'll take it off. Okay, so I'm gonna make a longer mark so we can see it. Okay. So right around here is where we want to inspect it. Okay, and we've got our caliper set for 35 millimeters. We're going to check the chain slack again. Okay, so you can either measure it from the top of the chain or the bottom of the chain. Just make sure you're making the same. You're measuring from the same spot. Okay, so so it's a little bit more. Yeah, it's a little bit more. Yeah, so that's a little more than 35 millimeters. Now we're going to move it somewhere else. About here, okay? checking the same spot again. So, oh yeah, from the bottom right. Yep. Yeah, it's just a little bit like 5 millimeters off. Rotate it again. Let's check out the master link. How about that? Okay, so there's the master link. It's kind of hard to do. Okay, yeah. It's like the chain moves. Yeah, move it up so. Okay. It's kind of hard to do. It looks like it needs to be tightened just a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit. Okay, I would take the lowest number. How about that? so we're gonna go ahead and tighten the chain. All right. So, and I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is loosen the axle nut. So to do that, you need to get your 19 millimeter. Unfortunately, Honda, the freaking exhaust is in the way of the axle, okay? So you can only use the open-ended side on this one, okay? So you're going to have to use that to hold the nut steady. And then you're going to have to use a 14 millimeter on the other side, okay? It might be good to use a cheater bar like this, though. Okay, so you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing from this side, but I'm just going to make sure that stays put, okay? Okay, here we go. So 14 millimeter with a cheater bar on it. I'm going to hold the other side. Loosen it. Okay. It's got to be loose or else you won't be able to adjust the chain. And try not to move your bike forward. I'm gonna do this, or else it might fall off the center stand. Or you can probably use an impact gun too. Okay, at some point you could probably. I'm loosening the other side now. So just make sure it's loose enough where you can spin the nut, okay? Spin the nut. Yeah, it's fine. I can see the nut. So when you move this, okay, so when I move this, the other side will move with it, okay? See, there. Okay, that should be good. All right, so now we're gonna go loosen the adjuster nuts. Okay, so you're going to take your 10 and 12 millimeter wrenches, okay? And then you're going to take the 12 and put it here. It's already loose. And, well, loosen this. Try to loosen the I see, it doesn't. It moves with it. Okay, there you go. Okay. Okay, so when you loosen this, it loosens the chain, and when you tighten this, it tightens the chain, okay? That's the way that works. So this is just, this here is a locking nut, okay? This keeps this from moving, all right? So you tighten these two together so they don't move anymore. And then ultimately what really holds everything in place when you got everything adjusted is the axle, okay? So once you tighten this, this will not move anymore. That's why you have to loosen this before you can tighten or loosen this, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. This side's a little harder because the freaking exhaust is in the way again. Yep. This one's harder than the other side. Don't know why. There's a bunch of marks left on this too. I don't know. Somebody didn't know how to use a torque wrench or something. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start tightening the axle, or tighten the chain a little bit to get it where we want it. Okay. So what you're gonna want to do is start on the left side, because this left side is where the chain is first. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I tighten this to, I'm gonna try to get it to 25 millimeters, okay? So 25 is the tightest you can have it. And then it's just, when chains get older and they're worn out, they get looser. So the tighter you make it, the longer it'll be before you have to tighten it again, is what I'm gonna say. Okay, so we're gonna shoot for 25, around 25 millimeters, maybe 20. How about 28? How about that? Okay, so I'm gonna tighten this, and you should see the chain start to get tighter. Okay, now you're gonna go check your chain slack again, and remember where you checked it before. So we checked it right here, right? I want to make sure that's less than 35. Okay, it is less than 35 now. Okay, but we want to make sure it's not less than 25. Okay. Okay, so we want to make sure it's more than 25. Yeah, you want to make sure it's not less than 25. So you want to make sure it's more than 25. Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, that's 25 exactly. Yeah, that is 25 exactly. Right on the money, Merlin. Good job. All right, we're gonna do that 3 more times. Wow, I got lucky. All right. I'm gonna check from the bottom of the chain. Okay, you can also check from the top of the chain. Okay, now it's a little bit. It's a little bit less than 25 now. Okay, so maybe we need to loosen it a little bit. Check it in another place. Try to clean up the chain while you can. Still got the stock grease on it, man. Okay, this looks fine. Oh no, it's less. Okay, so it's less than 25. Is it 25? Yeah, it's 25. Okay, less than 25. Oh, that's just about 25. Yeah, that's fine. So that's perfect right there. Okay, so I got lucky. I mean, I tightened it just a little bit, and it was already perfect already. Okay, so that's how you want it. All right. So you want it to be more than 25. This is 25 right now. Okay, so I'll move it a little bit more. Okay, let's try. I'm gonna use the top of the chain. Okay, for measurement. Okay, so that's actually a little more than 25 right there. Okay, so that's good. All right, now you want to make sure it's less than 35. I'm going to set my caliper to 35. Okay. Okay, yeah, see, it's less than 35. So I'm checking from the top of the chain this time, and it's less than 35. It's quite a bit less than 35. So that should be good. Okay. It says you want to keep it around 30 millimeters, but we did 25. That's fine. Okay. And when you measure it, it's got to be with the, so certain bikes have different procedures, okay? This bike has a center stand. They want you to check it while it's on the center stand, okay? Some bikes, they tell you to put it on a stand of some sort, or do it on the side stand, you know, that kind of stuff. For this particular bike, this spec is with the center stand, on the center stand. So I do have a side stand on my bike, but you don't check it on the side stand. It tells you to put it on the center stand, okay? Okay, so we're good to go. Before we put everything back together. Oh yeah, hold on. There's one more thing we got to do. Okay, so we got to go make sure the other side is aligned properly, and then double check. Okay, so it looks like we're just right in front of this mark here. Okay, see these marks on the arm? So we're on the 1, 2. The third big mark, okay? The third big mark just to the right of it, okay? On the other side, it's going to be just to the left of it. It's going to be the opposite, right? Okay? So that's what it's like. So we're going to go look at the other side. Okay, so you have to make this side look like that side, okay? So the third tick, okay, 1, 2, the third one is hidden back there, okay? So this one is like kind of like the opposite. Or no. So to move this adjuster this way, okay? Yeah. To move this adjuster this way, to move this adjuster that way, you need to actually loosen it, okay? So I'm going to loosen it. Okay, and then you're going to want to push the wheel back. Okay? So you want to make sure this is tight on there, okay? Yeah, because I messed up. I kind of, not gonna lie, I did it the wrong way, and I was like, oh, whoops. Okay, just make sure you push the wheel forward so it takes up the slack. Okay, and I think that's good right there. Okay, it's just in front of the big tick mark. Okay, right there. All right, so the third one, 1, 2, 3, just to the left of it. Okay, the other one was just to the right of it. Wait, let me double check. Yeah. So on this side, it'll just be just a little bit to the left of that mark. Okay, if anything, maybe I want to loosen it just a little bit more. The previous owner might have not have done this right, you know. So. Okay, that looks like too much, so I'm going to tighten it again. Okay, I think that's good. That should be fine. You just gotta get it close. All right, so now both are aligned. So make sure these end caps are flush with the swing arm, okay? And then we're gonna check our chain slack one more time just to double check, because it might have changed when we adjusted the other side. Okay. As long as it's less than 35, though, I will be happy. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to check from the top of the chain and that same spot that we made. Okay, yep, it's less than 35. Yep, and make sure it's more than 25. Okay, it should be more than this. Okay, yep, it is, just barely. All right, yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so now what we got to do is we got to tighten up our adjusters. Okay, so you want to move these nuts all the way here. Okay, and you're just going to tighten the two into each other. Okay, do the same thing for the other side. Okay. Okay. Should be good. Okay. So make sure. So let's go through the instructions. All right. So loosen the rear axle and both lock nuts. We did that. Turn both the chain adjuster nuts until correct drive chain slack is obtained. Okay, we did that. And then we make sure the adjusters are aligned. We did that with the index lines. All right, on the swing arm. Okay. Okay, I don't think we're supposed to do that. All right, so Hades Omega kind of skipped a step. All right, we're supposed to tighten the rear axle, and then you can tighten the chain adjuster nuts and lock the nuts securely. Okay, so we were supposed to do that after. I don't see any reason to do it before or after. It doesn't really matter, okay? But we're going to tighten the rear axle nut to the specified torque, 59 Newton meters, and here it says 4.4 foot-pound-feet, okay? That is wrong, okay? I found a typo in the freaking book. That's supposed to be 44 foot-pounds, because 59 Newton meters is about 44 foot-pounds. It's like 43.9 something foot-pounds, all right? I looked at, and the manual, the owner's manual, says 44 foot-pounds, okay? Or 59 Newton meters, all right? 59 Newton meters or 44. So that decimal right there is not supposed to be there. Somebody made a typo in this book, okay? So do not follow that. If you that is a critical error right there, okay? If you tighten that axle to 4.4 foot-pounds, it will come loose, okay? That is too loose. That is like 10 times less torque than you need if you're going to use the foot-pound reading, okay? So anyway, we're going to tighten it to 44 foot-pounds. All right? All right. Okay. There we go. All right, I have it set my torque wrench set to 44 foot-pounds. All right, and I got a 14 millimeter on it. We're gonna go tighten it. So I'm gonna hold the other side with the 19 millimeter. Okay, actually I'm gonna tighten it from the other side first a little bit. Yeah, dude, the previous owner just looked at these they just looked at these marks. That's not the proper way to do it. The proper way to do it is to use the torque wrench, okay, guys? All right, here we go. Okay, now on going. Okay. One more time for good luck. Okay, good. All right, that's it. Okay, I'm gonna go put some lube on the chain. Okay, I got some this DuPont chain saver. Okay, it's the Walmart special. Okay, I'm gonna shake it up. It's weird. This has got this little weird little thing on it, man. Why is that there? It makes it harder to lube the chain. Okay, so I'm just gonna spray the chain with this stuff while rotating it. Okay. Probably from the top. I'm gonna do from the top a little bit too. Okay, just spin it around. Yeah, it's kind of, it makes it hard to lube the chain with this little guard here. Oh, it's dripping. Okay, I may have lubed it too much. Okay, well, it's got a good amount of lube. Now you notice it started to move a lot easier now, right? Okay, I'm gonna get a rag and clean up all that mess. Okay, and then now we can put it back on. Okay, so one thing I'm gonna do before I put this back is I'm gonna put a I'm gonna safety wire that master link on there, okay? Because I don't trust those kind of master links. Yeah, oh no, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a piece, I'm gonna use some RTV on it, okay? Okay, so also before I put this back on, I'm gonna clean this, okay? I think I'm just gonna get a napkin or something, a tissue paper, and then just wipe all that sand out of there, okay? All right. Okay, so Hades Omega is gonna teach you a little trick on about how to make sure your master link does not fall off, okay? I'm pretty sure this chain will last a long time. Is this even an O-ring chain? This is not an O-ring chain. That's a good question. Let's take a look at it. It's got a bunch of grease all over it. I can't tell. I don't think it's an O-ring chain. I don't see any O-rings in it, okay, guys? I'm not 100% on that, though. Okay, so this doesn't even use an O-ring chain. Yeah. There's no O-rings on this chain. That's interesting. Well, so I think Honda was betting that, like, hey, you know, since we got this enclosed chain here, it's not going to get dirty and it's going to last a long time. So let's hope that's true. Okay, so they use a regular chain, but that's okay. A regular chain is fine. Okay, but O-ring chains do last longer because they just keep the lubrication in there. Okay, so I'm going to show you a trick on how to keep your to make sure your master link doesn't fall off while we're here, okay? Okay, so there's your master link right there, right? So we're gonna clean off all the grease from it because there's a lot of grease on this. And also the paint's coming off too. Too bad, it was nice to have that paint, but now we're gonna have something else on there. Okay, just make sure you clean off as much grease as you can from the master link, okay? Just make sure no pieces of tissue paper break off in there too. Okay, make sure it's as grease-free as we can, right? All right, now we're gonna go, I got this new tube of adhesive sealant, okay? Clear RTV silicone, all right? This is what I use to make sure my master links don't come out. Okay, I don't trust these clip type master links, okay? And then we're just gonna dab this on the chain, okay? on the master link clip. Okay, just put a big glob over the pins and the clip. Okay, and that'll make sure that that does not come out on you, okay? Because you do not want that to come out on you. You will have a bad day, okay? That's what I want to say. All right, and then yeah, you probably want to, before you operate your bike, you want to make sure that cures first. So you probably want to not ride your bike for like 5 or 6 hours, okay? Okay, so yeah, we should be good. If your chain is dirty, go ahead and clean it. I would get some napkins and wipe it. You may need to use some kind of chain cleaning compound or a spray or something to clean it if it's really, really dirty. Okay, this chain is in excellent shape, okay? If I did want to clean it, I would probably just get a napkin or something and just wipe off the dirt, okay? But the chain looks excellent, so I'm not gonna touch it. What I might want to do is wipe this part right here. Okay, so there's some kind of dirt and stuff in there. Okay, and just wipe around the swing arm. Also, one thing you want to inspect, okay, after your bike has like a lot of miles and stuff, you want to look at these chain guides here. Okay, these rubber chain guides or chain rubber thingies here. Make sure there's no hole in it, because if there's a hole in it, it'll dig through the swing arm. Okay, you don't want that. It'll destroy your swing arm at some point. Okay. So yeah, so what did we do so far? We inspected the chain slack, all right, and it looked like it was too much. We removed the covers. We inspected the chain. All right, the chain looks good. We inspected the front and the rear sprockets. You can check the front by looking underneath here. Okay, I found that out. Or you can take this whole thing out. Okay, but and just warning you, if we take this out, there's a chain guide in there, and it's supposed to be sandwiched between this and the engine, okay? And like, if you take this off, the chain guide falls off, okay? So that's just a warning, all right? You really only need to take that off if you're gonna replace the front sprocket, okay? You can inspect it from like underneath here, okay? That's the best place to inspect it, right here or right here, okay? Just get a flashlight and just look in there, and then make sure it looks nice and flat like this, okay? Make sure it looks like that. Okay, so yeah, so let's go put these covers back on and we'll be done. Okay, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the covers back on. I just cleaned this one, okay? All I did is wipe it with some tissue paper. There was a bunch of sand in there, okay? Yeah, I think stuff is just supposed to build up in there naturally over time, okay? Because stuff gets flung off the chains, all right? So you're gonna go and put the bolts back in. Let's just line up the holes with the bolts, all right? Put them back in. I don't think there's, I'm pretty sure all the bolts are the same size, so you don't have to worry about putting them in the wrong places, okay? One thing you might want to do is put some Loctite on these. Looks like they may come off, you know? Okay. Gonna go tighten it with our Allen wrench. Yeah, let's put the other one. Okay, so here's the top cover. So you're going to want to slide this one behind the shock absorber here. Okay, kind of helps if you rotate the wheel along with it. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay, there's supposed to be, okay, the top cover is supposed to overlap the bottom cover, okay? See how this part is bigger than the bottom cover, okay? This is designed to go on top, okay? So that's why, yeah, you should do it the way I did it. Put the bottom one on first. Good job, Petey Zamir. I didn't mean to do that, but it's the right way to do it. Might be kind of hard to get them lined up. Okay. Okay, make sure they're kind of well aligned. Go ahead and snug them. Okay. Okay. Okay, so according to the manual, it is 5.2 foot-pounds or 7 Newton meters. I'm going to go with 7 Newton meters. That seems a little easier to work with. Okay, this is already set to 7 Newton meters, okay? So we're going to go tighten the screws to 7 Newton meters. Okay, there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. Okay, we're going to do it one more time just for good luck. Okay. Okay. You don't have to do it in this order. But just make sure you do them all. Okay, that's it. And then put your inspection plug back in. Alright, and you're done. That is your chain maintenance. So, alright, so that should be it. We'll do a little quick recap. Alright, here's Mig up. Alright, hey, it's Mig here. So that's the end of the chain maintenance video for the Honda Super Cub C125. So in this video, we went and inspected the chain through the inspection port, okay? And then we removed the chain cover, and then we inspected the chain slack without the cover on, okay? The cover is the chain inspection port is just there so you can quickly check it without having to take the cover off, okay? If the chain slack moves like way past the hole, all right, you know you're gonna need to tighten it, okay? But the best way to check it is with the chain cover off, okay? So you can probably use the hole to kind of gauge how much you need to adjust it, okay? If it goes way past the hole, like way up, then you need to tighten it, okay? And yeah, okay. All right. So and then what we did is I tightened the chain, okay, because it was a little loose. I tightened it to about 25 millimeters, okay, and then we inspected the chain and inspected the sprockets. They were still in excellent shape. This bike only has 1,600 miles. That's what I would expect it to look like, okay, after that many miles. But the chain did need adjustment, okay, and it did look like the wheel needed to be aligned too, because like I had to adjust the right side to match the left side a little bit more is what I want to say, okay. So yeah, we aligned the wheels, and it wasn't that much off, and then we inspected the sprockets. The sprockets still look good. If it still looks flat on top of the sprocket, on the teeth of the sprocket, it's still good, okay. And then we found the typo in the book. The axle torque is actually 44 foot-pounds, not 4.4 foot-pounds, okay? Do not follow what it says in the service manual. I'm just going to write in there 44 foot-pounds, okay? In fact, what you could do is just write on the adjuster 44. That way you'll know how much thing it is. And like, it's not a big deal. You can wipe it off with alcohol if you don't want it there anymore. But that's what I do. I put the torque numbers on the bolts, or somewhere near the bolts, so I don't forget, okay? I don't have to keep on looking at the manual because I forget all the time. Okay, and yeah, that was pretty much it. We lubed the chain. Okay, I didn't really need to lube the chain because the chain still looked like it was in great shape. I cleaned the bottom cover because there was a lot of sand under there. I guess whoever owned this bike took it to the beach sometimes, and sand got up in there a little bit. But other than that, the chain looked great. I'm surprised it is not an O-ring chain. Okay, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Like, my Lightbeat has a non-O-ring chain. You get more power if you have a non-O-ring chain, I'll tell you that. Okay, so the front and the rear sprockets still look good. We lubed it, and then we put it all back together. We torqued the covers, we torqued the axle bolt, and we tightened the adjusters, okay? Supposedly, you're supposed to tighten the adjusters after you tighten the axle, okay? But in my opinion, you can do it either way, you know? But the book tells you to do it after, okay? So don't say like, hey Merlin, something happened, and then I did it the way you told me. But honestly, I don't think it really matters, okay? So that should be the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope that was educational and you learned something and it was entertaining. Thanks for watching. That is how to do your chain maintenance on your Honda Super Cub C125. Okay, the most of the maintenance you should probably have to do on this bike is just to open up that inspection port and check the slack, okay? If it's too much, then you go tighten it, okay? If the bike is if the chain is pretty new, it's gonna initially stretch, is what I'm gonna say, okay? I'm interested to see how long that chain looks, but it look excellent in there. Okay, so after 1,600 miles, this is still look really good. So I'm hoping it's not gonna need a lot of maintenance because it's like that. Okay, all right, hey, this is Big Out. Thanks for watching.